Okay, so next up we have an incredible artist, actor, and Augusta native, Miss Tiffany Denise Hobbs.
Hi, Tiffany.
Thank you for joining us, Tiffany.
Thanks for having me.
Where are you quarantined and who are you with?
I'm in Atlanta with my brother.
Nice.
Yeah.
At least you have some company.
Yes, definitely.
So can you talk a little bit about your experiences at Davidson and sort of how the Augusta community shaped you as an artist?
Yeah. So I was in Davidson from 5th through 12th grade, and it was everything that I ever hoped it would be, as much of it as an 11-year-old can hope something like that can be, and more. I went there focusing on dance, and then I transitioned into theater pretty soon thereafter because I had 30 minutes of an elective to fill out and had to decide what that was. And because my mom always called me a drama queen, I figured, oh, I'll just take drama fundamentals. And that was the beginning of a whole new world for me. And yeah, I had wonderful teachers. Betty Walper and Heather Davidson were so great to me, so wonderful, and great mentors still to this day. They're awesome. And I got to be a part of a lot of productions, took lots and lots of classes, had lots of major opportunities with master classes and all of that. And yeah, that's just how I my bug for acting started. And from then on, I was like, I have to do this for my life.
And you pulled it off beautifully, my friend.
Definitely.
So, Tiffany, let's see. I'm gonna show a clip first.
Okay.
So when in New York, I worked for the Public Theater, which started as the New York Theater Shakespeare Festival, and is now called Shakespeare in the Park. And Shakespeare in the Park happens at the Delacorte Theater around 81st Street on the west side. Every summer, 2 productions. So this past summer, Tiffany was in Much Ado About Nothing, which is now streaming on PBS. And I'm going to show you a clip, and then we'll talk to Tiffany about it. So do you want to set it up at all?
Okay, so in this scene, we Hero is one of the other characters, and then it's me, Ursula. We are basically about to trick the main character, Beatrice, into, she's in love with this guy, and everybody knows it, but they're a battle of wits between each other. So basically, we're going to give her some bait in a way that is inconspicuous. She doesn't know that we know that she's here, and she's going to fall for it, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so let's watch it, guys.
Now begin. For look where Beatrice like a lapwing runs close by the ground to hear our conference.
The pleasantest angling is to see the fish cut with our golden oar, the silver stream,
And greedily devour the treacherous babes and go near, that her ear lose nothing of the false sweet bait that we lay for it. No, truly, Ursula, she's too disdainful.
But are you sure that Benedict loves Beatrice so entirely?
So says the prince and my betrothed lord.
And did they bid you tell her of it, madam?
They did entreat me to acquaint her of it, but I persuaded them that they loved Benedict to wish him wrestle with affection, and never to let Beatrice know of it.
Why did you so? Doth not the gentleman deserve as full, as fortunate a bed as ever Beatrice shall couch upon?
Ah, God of love! I know he doth deserve as much as may be yielded to a man, but nature never framed a woman's heart of prouder stuff than that of Beatrice. Disdain and scorn ride sparkling in her eyes, misprizing what they look on, and her wit values itself so highly that to her all matter else seems weak. She cannot love, nor take no shape nor project of affection. She is so self-endeared.
Sure, I think so, and therefore certainly it were not good she knew his love, lest she'll make sport at it.
Why, you speak truth. I never yet saw a man how wise, how noble, young, how rarely featured, but she would spell him backward. If fair-faced, she would swear the gentleman should be her sister. If tall, alas, ill-headed. If low and agate, very vilely cut. If speaking like A vein blown with all winds, if silent, why a block moved with none. So turns she every man the wrong side out, and never gives to truth and virtue that which simpleness and merit purchaseth.
Sure. Such carping is not commendable.
No, not to be so odd, and from all fashions as Beatrice is, cannot be commendable. But who dare tell her so? If I should speak, she would mock me into air. She would laugh me out of myself, press me to death with wit. Therefore, let Benedict, like covered fire, consume away in sighs, waste inwardly. It were a better death than die with mocks, which is as bad as die with tickling.
And yet tell her of it. Hear what she will say.
No, rather, I will go to Benedict and counsel him to fight against his passion. And truly, I'll devise some honest slanders to stain my cousin with. One doth not know how much an ill word may empoison liking.
Oh, do not do your cousin such a wrong. She cannot be so much without true judgment, having so swift and excellent a wit as she is prized to have, as to refuse so rare a gentleman as Signor Benedict.
He is the only man. Always accepted my dear Claudio.
I pray you be not angry with me, madam, speaking my fancy. Signor Benedict, for shape, for bearing, argument, and valor, goes foremost in report.
Indeed, he hath an excellent good name.
His excellence did earn it, ere he had it. Wait, when are you married, madam?
Why, every day tomorrow. Come, go in. I'll show thee some attires and have thy counsel which is the best to furnish me tomorrow.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, Wesley, you're muted.
It was a little laggy, obviously, but that's the best we could do. And you get the point. I was like, should we just watch this whole thing? You think people would watch? But so good. Do you want to talk a little bit about what it's like to work at the Delacorte?
It was awesome. Well, first of all, working at the Public Theater is that all actors want to work at. They just do so many great productions, lots of pre-Broadway tryouts, and lots of great directors and producers are in and out of that building 24/7. So it felt like finally getting that contract felt like I was being invited to this exclusive family of Broadway, of New York, Echelon, all of that. So that was kind of cool. And then you get there and you realize like, oh, they're just all regular people. They're just as normal as can be. And so generous and so giving. And working at the Delacorte specifically was just wonderful. There's a lot of history there. You're outside in nature, which is beautiful. And ironically, I'd done Much Ado About Nothing before, and I played Beatrice at Shakespeare in the Park in Dallas.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to get to do that show again in a different role, still outside with nature. It was just spectacular. And, we had a family of raccoons that lived under the stage that would make appearances sometimes. So that was kind of wonderful as well. And the audiences are just so engaging, so motivating and loving and supportive. We had a really great run. We had a great cast and crew as well. So it was great.
Awesome. Now, Taylor and Beth, Tiffany is not just a Shakespearean actress. So I'm going to show another clip, and you can set this up while I bring it up, the Atlanta clip.
Oh, okay. So if you've seen Atlanta, this Earl is the character that I'm talking to. He's one of the main characters, the protagonist, and he's gotten in some trouble, and I'm his parole officer. This is our first meeting.
Okay, here we go.
Ernest Marks, first-time offender, narcotics possession with intent to sell.
Half a joint. Plus, this is the charge don't even count as long as I don't get charged again.
Unless you get arrested again, not charged. One's easier than the other. You've already paid your entrance fee.
It's not working.
Yeah, my jail entrance fee.
We'll need $50 for the mandatory anti-drug class. That's materials, and each class is $25, so that's $325 plus the 50, $375 in total. Are you able to pay this amount at this time?
No.
The payment plan will be set up for the remainder of your classes. Please pay promptly or a warrant will be issued for your arrest.
Would I even have to show up for these classes if I paid for the whole thing in full?
You can't till last night. Take one of those cups by the door, fill it up, and leave it in the cupboard.
Yes, thank you.
Laggy again, but so talk a little bit about your TV work and how, honestly, I don't even know, how do you go about translating from being a theater actress to a television actress?
Well, like the actual like technical steps to getting the opportunities for them is you need to have an agent, and your agent is the person who basically gets all of the breakdowns for television and film. So whenever casting offices or producers release, oh, we're auditioning for these roles for this particular series or this particular movie, they go all out to the agents. And then the agents submit based on their clientele, who they think are great fits for those roles. And then the casting decides based upon the submissions who they're going to call in and actually audition for it. So that's how you actually get the auditions. And, from an acting standpoint, I always say that it's not that much different. There are some like technicalities to it because, when you're performing in front of a live audience, your work needs to be a little bit bigger to translate to the back of the audience, the theater that you're in. And then when you're on camera, your cameras are like right in your face or all that. So you don't necessarily need to project as much. And the acting, while still the same, energy wise, you can bring it down just a little bit or a lot in some cases, depending on how intimate the scenes are, because you have your camera right there and you have just a frame to work within.
Okay, so you're doing theater work, you're doing film work, and then you get your Broadway debut. Can you talk about that milestone in your career? As as a theater obsessed person, I just can't imagine what that's like.
It was fun. It was crazy because I was actually I was on set the night before I had to fly out to New York for my callback for a waitress. So I was on set. We were there all day and it ran into the night. I don't think we left until maybe like 1:30, like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. And I was going over the entire time whenever they would break or whenever they had to like move cameras around or change lighting. I was in my scripts because I was auditioning for a swing position. So I had seven, I think, tracks to memorize. And so I had to audition various things within those tracks. So I had a few scenes to memorize and a couple of songs to memorize and all of that. So it was crazy. I wrapped that morning and then flew out within a few hours to New York, did the callback, had a blast. It was fun. And then after that, I waited for, I can't remember how long. And, it's sometimes can be excruciating. I was fortunate in that a few days after that, I went to Disney World with my family. So I was a little bit distracted, but still checking my phone periodically. Like after every ride, I was picking up my phone, like, did my agents call? And then when we were waiting in line to go eat lunch, I got a call from my agent. And she said that I booked the show, that I was going to Broadway. And I just ran. I started screaming. Everyone thought something was wrong, but I said, no, it's okay. I just booked Broadway. Everything's fine. Oh, and it was great. My family was all there when it happened. So it was cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay, so you didn't think we were going to bring Tiffany on here without a little performance. So she's going to do a little monologue for us. Can you set it up, and then I'm going to make you big screen, and you go ahead.
Yeah, so this is just this is from Julius Caesar. It's Shakespeare again. I'm Portia, and I'm coming to my husband. There's something wrong, and I just need to find out what's wrong. Nor for yours neither. You've urgently, Brutus, stole from my bed. And yesternight at supper, you suddenly arose and walked about, musing and sighing with your arms across. And when I asked you what the matter was, you stared upon me with ungentle looks. I urged you further, then you scratched your head and too impatiently stamped with your foot. Yet I insisted, yet you answered not, but with an angry wafture of your hand gave sign for me to leave you, so I did. Fearing to strengthen that impatience which seemed much too enkindled, but with all hoping it was but an act of humor which sometime hath its hour with every man. It will not let you eat, nor talk, nor sleep. And could it work so much upon your shape as it hath much prevailed on your condition, I should not know you, Brutus. Dear my lord, make me acquainted with your cause of grief. That's it.
Yeah.
Yay, that's good.
Amazing.
Thanks.
I cannot do classic monologues.
Yes, you can. You can.
To save my life. I tried, but
the thing about it is I love classic material, and so it's been like such a blessing to be able to get to do it, especially like I did 12th night at the Yale Repertory Theater like right before I did Much Ado, and I played Olivia, and that was another dream come true. But I love classic material just because I think that when it's done well, and it's understandable to both the actors who are doing it and the audience, it's so beautiful when it's done right. And I also think that it can be really intimidating too, because it's just like Elizabethan speech and oh my God, I don't talk like that and I don't know how to make sense of it. But it really is, once it clicks, once you like start to, and I had to do a lot of work to study like iambic pentameter and like meter and understanding like the vocabulary of Elizabethan age and all of that. But then once you do, you start to realize that, oh, Shakespeare's just like talking about human behavior. That's just using the language that was used at the time. And then once you click into that, you're golden. And it's so much fun because it's just like, it's just material you can chew on for so long. As we can see, like it's timeless.
Yeah. So Taylor, take those tips from our local Shakespeare expert, Tiffany Denise Hobbs. And practice.
Yes.
Okay, Tiffany, thank you. You're the best.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.